What you are listening to is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in the squared circle. Both parties have agreed to dismiss their cases and have their disputes settled here in our forum, the Turnbuckle Debate.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Turnbuckle Debate. My name is Sneed.
I'm Chad.
And I am 1/3 of the actual High Council of the Tavern, Mr. Boney Shivani.
And our guest joining us today, we have artist Nolan Harris from Nolanium on Instagram and wherever you can find all of his stuff. He's going to tell us where you can find it. Man, tell everybody about Nolanium.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. First and foremost, thank you for having me on the pod. This is really exciting for me. I love talking wrestling. It's one of my favorite pastimes. And anytime I get to meet some people that are as weird as I am about the form of entertainment we all love, it's great. My real name, my real name is Nolan Harris. I'm based in Seattle, Washington. I have been doing wrestling art for a number of years. Kind of made my way on the scene through social media, and then eventually started to get some really cool projects lined up with tops, chalk line jackets. Recently have been doing stuff with Roosevelt's. They make really cool pattern shirts.
Ah, cool, yeah.
And then I've done some stuff for the E as well. Just wrapped up on an Edge and Beth Phoenix shirt a few months back. And so I'm happy to be here, boys. Thank you once again.
Awesome. That's awesome, man. Thank you for doing the show. We're all huge fans of your work. Now, if anyone listening wanted to, that's at Nolanium on Instagram. But if anyone wanted to purchase prints, Nolan, where would they go to get those?
So right now, prints are a no-go because of pesky copyrights. But I will tell you this: if you want to get autographed artwork that I have done in the past, you can go to highspotsauctions.com, highspots.com. Or if you would like to commission me to draw you as your favorite wrestler or a custom wrestler, you can hit me up by shooting into my DMs on Instagram or Twitter.
Awesome.
That's cool.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
Yeah. So what we'll do, we have 3 topics we're going to get into. We'll go probably 10, 15 minutes a piece on each one. We'll all say our piece on it and have a little bit of fun with it. You guys ready to get into the first question?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right. So our first question of the evening. Should WWE put more build into the Austin Wrestlemania comeback?
I'll go ahead and start this off. I think they're properly doing the enough build. I've been kind of talking about this for months, that they needed an Austin just to sell the tickets. You just need Austin there, whatever capacity you have him in, because of they just don't build the talent right now, the young talent, in order to really get it over. I think their main focus should really be to get the young talent over. There's some spots where they're doing that in, but overall I would give it a C on them doing that. But you don't want to feature Austin too heavily, in my opinion, because how many more times are we going to see Austin? I mean, it's to me, it's kind of clear that this is probably, based off the promo he put out a couple weeks ago, this is probably it. I mean, you're going to put all your eggs in your basket for one more shot, glory, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think they're properly building Austin. I think putting it in main event Saturday night, that's fine. I think it's good.
Yeah, if I could, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
No, go ahead.
Jump in, man. Jump in.
I think, it would have been a different story if Austin had signed on for a full-on return match. I think if that were the case, they would have put a lot more steam behind it. But now I think they're playing the whole let's get butts in the seats card with what they've got, which is why we haven't seen them yet on TV, with the exception of that promo. I think they could have done a little bit better with Austin, all things considered. I think that it's kind of weak that KO was just dissing Texas, and that's what got Austin out of hiding.
Right.
They could have gotten a little bit more intense with that aspect of the story, but you know what? I mean, I'm tuning in. I'm gonna watch Austin. I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you a little bit, and I'm also I kind of think they could have done even more. I was pretty critical of Austin coming back because I didn't want one of those Shawn Michaels Saudi Arabia situations where Austin comes back, and because he really had this storybook ending. He goes out on his back to his greatest rival, walks away. We didn't even know it was his last match. And what a Jim Brown, like, for the NFL heads, way to go out at the top of your game. Obviously, like, he went out because of injuries. It wasn't he was kind of forced out, but it was kind of a storybook ending for Stone Cold. But I kind of came around. I'm with you. I'm going to be tuned in for WrestleMania. That's probably the most excited thing for the show for me, like seeing Stone Cold. What's it going to be like? But I think the build has been weird to me. You've got this guy who's been out for 19 years, and the only thing it took to get him to come back out was to badmouth Texas. Like, that's all it took. That's weak writing. That's really weak booking. Like, 19 years, all you had to do was shit on Texas. Come on, man. Like, you can do more than that. But I will say the Kevin Owens spot where he came out with the bald cap, I thought that was prime time Attitude Era type of booking. I was all in for that. I thought it was a lot of fun. And I don't think you can. I know we want to see Austin. And like Nolan, like you said, maybe if it was a big match, they would have brought him in earlier. But I think it's important for us not to see him. The return is the big deal. So don't blow that little vignette promo package that Austin shot out in the desert. That's enough. That's all we need. When I hear him come out to that glass breaking, the first time that should happen is at WrestleMania. You shouldn't waste that in tired Raw segments leading up to it. That we should all be waiting for that. So I think they could have booked it a little better, but I don't know. Maybe this is all they could work with what Stone Cold was giving them.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we needed to see him per se, but I do agree that they could have written it a little bit better. I would have liked to have seen Kevin Owens go for the throat a little bit more. Instead of going for the state, I'd like to see him go. I mean, you can start with the state, but I'd like to see him go hard on Stone Cold. Like, I know he's going hard. I mean, he came out dressed as him and did the whole, but I think there could have been a lot more. It could have gotten a lot more personal, which I think would have made it a lot more intense when Stone Cold comes out, because if it's that important, if it's that personal, when he comes out, he's ready to whoop somebody's ass.
Yeah. How would you make it personal?
You do the Broken Skull sessions. You have a Broken Skull sessions with KO.
Yeah.
Instead of Bully Ray or Farouk, you can save those for later on down the road. They're not going anywhere. And if you have KO on the Broken Skull sessions, that is KO's chance to really go at Stone Cold.
Shoot an angle, have them get into an altercation on Broken Skull. Awesome. Yeah. Dude,
easy.
Boney, if you ask me that, I'm going full Vince Russo. I'm having Kevin Owens show up on Broken Skull Ranch and wreck the house. I'm going all in. Like,
I was thinking, like, even like really getting in there, talk about his past with Deborah. That's exactly what I was thinking. Just get in there. But I mean, this is gonna be like a little bit of backtrack. I agree with your points with the Texas. Well, I was looking at the question as far as if they've put enough steam behind it. I feel like they have, but you're right as far as like on a storyline level. I live not too far from Texas, and don't get me wrong, those fools over there, they love their state, but God, like to really come out of retirement after 19 years, so to speak, and want to fight. I don't know about that.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
man,
get it. Like you can, it's Stone Cold. You don't have to do a lot to get people interested in him coming back.
Right.
I understand that. You don't.
Yeah.
Like, you can say you can break some glass, show him on a side by side, and people are in. I'm in.
Oh yeah.
But I think I agree with you with it being lazy writing because they know that that's all they have to do.
Yeah.
They could have
Right.
elevated it so much more by taking that personal level.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't like too much how they used the Seth Rollins stuff, as a way to like, oh, is Seth Rollins going to be the new host or whatever the show? Because that also watered it down a little bit too, in my opinion, because it's just like, okay, well, Steve is just going to automatically turn his attention to Seth because that's what he has to do.
That was awful. That was an awful sidetrack for both of those storylines, for Seth's storyline and KO storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Nolan, real quick question for you, and then everybody else can answer too. How do you book the finish in this? Does you've got a guy, arguably the greatest superstar ever in WWE, Stone Cold, coming back after 19 years. Does he go out on top, or is this a primetime opportunity to go out how the legends do sometimes, go out on your back, put a young guy over? How do you book this finish?
I'll tell you how I book it, and then I'll tell you how WWE will book it. I mean, for one, it's Mania, right? And everyone's been waiting a month and a half for the Texas Rattlesnake to come back. So obviously, they're going to go with the happy ending, couple stunners, couple beers, boom. And then everyone goes home happy. But the way I would book it is I would go with the WrestleMania 30 finish. I would have KO take out Stone Cold. I would have him do it brutally and as safely as they possibly can. And I would have him ride on those coattails for the next 5-6 years because he could be a monster heel. And he could really run roughshod on a lot of people on the claim that he took out the Texas Rattlesnake.
Good point.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Brock did it. I was the one behind 21-1. Like,
yeah, it worked out great. And same with Foley. Foley put over Orton, and Orton was a monster after that, So it's just kind of like, I really want them to do it, but we all know, boys, it ain't happening Mania.
Mania in Texas, it's not going to happen, but I do agree. I think this is a perfect opportunity for them to build another star. And I think if they did it with Owens going over, they would set him up for that stardom success that they won't do.
Yeah. What do you think, Boney?
Yeah, I mean, he would. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he would be elevated probably as the number 2 person in the company behind Roman if they did something like that, Because I mean, you took out Stone Cold Steve Austin in Texas Saturday night 1 WrestleMania, and then you could be like, tune in tomorrow night. Oh my God, what's going to happen tomorrow? Like, you could even have. I mean, if you want to, you could even make Kevin Owens a monster the next night, where he just like going in. I don't care if it's a throwaway match. Go in Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn, and he's just dropping stunners, on him. You can really, really do something, but there's no way you can have Steve Austin. And this is not to like Steve Austin like not want to do business or anything. I think it's just WWE's just like, hey, we're Disney. We're gonna put our Mickey Mouse out there, and he's gonna dance and he's gonna do his thing, and he's gonna come back.
They're gonna give you that. They're gonna give you that Steven Spielberg ending, that happy ending. Send everyone happy, especially if it's main eventing, like the rumors say it's going to. Yeah. They're going to want to send everyone home happy. But I'm with you guys. I personally think Kevin Owens is a top guy.
I do too, yeah.
If something like that happens, though, he instantly becomes, like you said, Boney, top 3 guys, maybe the top heel in the business. Like even beyond Roman, if you do it right. As far as a vicious, brutal takedown of the icon,
Yeah, and I was out there for WrestleMania 30 actually. That pop, okay. I've been to many Saints games. Drew Brees comes, he's always back. He comes out. That pop when Stone Cold came out, was nothing I've ever experienced inside the Superdome before. It was amazing. And
That's awesome.
yeah,
Over
so
like Rover, man.
man, is he ever? He ain't got to do much.
Nope.
Drop a couple stunners. What?
Oh, he's
All right,
still the
guys.
best in my opinion.
Oh yeah, greatest of all time.
Anybody have any final thoughts before we wrap up this topic?
Yeah, I just want to pose a question to all of you.
Sure.
What if this is a setup for a match next WrestleMania?
I hope, man. That is my biggest hope. I hope that
That'd
this
be
isn't
great.
one and done. I hope that this is him coming back for almost like The Rock did that one time, comes out of Mania, announces next year. Like if he would come out and give us one final year, just a year of television with Stone Cold, that's the dream scenario for me.
Yeah. That would be great.
He's been training really hard. I've seen his feed. He's been dieting. He's been working his ass off to get into really good shape. Wouldn't it be amazing if we saw The Rock and Austin both bow out at the same WrestleMania? How poetic would that be?
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
That would be awesome.
I saw Stone Cold
awesome.
like maybe 5 days ago. He was on the Rich Eisen show, and he was looking cut up. He was looking good.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, man. Let's hope that happens.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on to our next topic. And Nolan, this is the topic that you brought to the table. What is your favorite and what is your least favorite title belt design? And I'll
All right.
defer to you on this one since it's your topic.
Well, it only popped up in my brain when I saw the new Brock Lesnar Undisputed Custom Championship. I got to be honest with you guys. They've had some hits. Like I thought the Flair one was pretty good, with the exception of the belt strap. I thought the Macho Man one was really cool. Like that was like the biggest departure. But man, that Brock Lesnar one, I don't know what was going on. I don't know who brought that idea to the table, but it looks ridiculous. So worst, I would say the Brock Lesnar custom title. Now, if I was going to say worst on actual television or at an actual wrestling event, obviously I have to say the 24/7. That thing is ridiculously lazy looking.
Yeah.
So bad.
So bad. And then, of course, my favorite, it's a toss-up. So, obviously, the World Heavyweight title, the WCW World Heavyweight Championship.
Big goal.
Big gold, baby. That's my favorite of all time. I hope they bring it back when they unify the titles. I've been clamoring for that title to come back for years. I've missed it dearly. So it's between that one and the WWE UK Championship.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah, that UK title is
Beautiful belt.
nice.
Beautiful belt. How about you guys?
I would have to say probably my least favorite. So I'm not like a huge belt guy as far as like the custom stuff, but it's a toss up. So I would have to say the spinner belt. But God, now I'm thinking about it. No, this is definitely the worst one. The old Divas title, the old butterfly tramp stamp.
The pink painted. Yeah, it was bad.
Looks like it walked off of Candy's back. Candy the stripper's back. Like, it's so bad. Like, I actually was showing my wife's a wrestling fan. I showed her that title one time. She was like, "Good Lord." She's like, "What is that?" My favorite. I pretty much grew up on. I do love the big gold, but I grew up, as a WWF, WWE fan at first, and then into WCW. So Winged Eagle for me, I love the Winged Eagle. It's just that when I close my eyes and think of a WWF champion, I think Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels holding that Winged Eagle, and that's my stuff right there.
They just did a nickel plated Winged Eagle.
Yeah,
and that thing is just freaking gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Winged Eagle is so iconic. I mean, and Big Gold too. Both of those titles are always at the top for me.
I think that's the first time they did a dual plate with a replica too. which is pretty sweet.
Oh yeah. I did see that.
Yeah, for me, I'll go least favorite. Least favorite is due to my love of the original title and the blasphemy that went on when they redesigned this belt, and that is the new Intercontinental Championship. I despise that belt. It looks too. It just looks too. I have a problem with a lot of WWE titles. I think a lot of them look like toys. They don't look like what a champion would hold. And I love the Intercontinental title. Like that original title is so good. The one that Sean held, the white strap. I love that belt. I hate the Intercontinental title. Obviously the butterfly title, the 24/7 title. Those are garbage as well. But my favorite, I will say the Intercontinental titles, honorable mention. And I'll say the big gold is right below. And I'm going to kind of stir some shit with a lot of belt fans and a lot of old school nostalgia wrestling fans. My favorite title, and maybe I'm a homer, the AEW World Title, Big Platinum. I think that is one of the.
It looks good.
It looks like a world title to me. It's big. It reminds me of Big Gold. Just in the, it reminds me of like a kind of a cross pollination of Big Gold and New Japan titles.
Yeah,
it's big. It's shiny. It reminds me of like prize fighting. What a champion would hold. It doesn't look like a toy. It looks like it's worth $1 million. Just. I don't know, man. That Big Platinum, the world title in AEW, love that belt. Absolutely love it.
Yeah,
I'm so happy they kind of took those elements and put them on the women's championship too.
Yes,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
Like that's a beautiful championship. It's not a giant bedazzled belt buckle like the first one. I used to call that one like the Fabergé egg. It
just tells me because they had the small one, and then at Double or Nothing they debuted a bigger one, but it was the same thing. And it's just like, what are we doing?
And then at Revolution they give us a new one. They knew that they were not getting it right. Like every time they were not getting it right
because they tried. I mean, because the tag team belts there are awesome.
Yeah,
NWA throwback.
Yeah,
and the heavyweight.
I like the TNT title. I think the TNT title looks slick, man.
It's got history. You could feel, it reminds me of the NWA championship. It's got you can see the history on the TNT title.
It's got the Turner Mansion on the side plates. I mean, that's cool.
That's really neat.
So for me, it was easy to pick my favorite. It was more tough to pick my least favorite. So my favorite, hands down, has always been and always will be the NWA TV title with the red strap and the silver nickel plates.
That's a good
one. Hands down, not even a question for me that's my favorite. Nice. It's just that's the belt. Not only do I like the fact that the red strap and the silver plates was just unique, and it had the TV studio cameras on the plate.
Yeah.
It's just what I remember growing up watching Arn Anderson defend every week. So it's a little bit of nostalgia for me too. So easy for that one. As far as least favorite, I mean, there's so many. So my least favorite, and it took me a while to even go through and pick this, but I would say John Cena's U.S. title. That belt was an atrocity to some of the U.S. titles that are out there, because the best U.S. title to ever
the WCW one, man, early
NWA,
90s.
NWA's.
Oh yeah,
the one that Lex Luger held.
Yep.
That one, hands down, best U.S. title.
Rick Rude held it, right? Like,
are you talking about the WCW or the NWA one?
I think right when they were they were in that weird shift from Crockett into WCW. But.
So, yeah, it's both of those are good. Now that's a debate in itself, is which one between those two. But Yeah, the John Cena US title was awful. And then as far as like a couple of honorable mentions, for me, the WWE tag team champions with the Spartan helmets on it, don't
Terrible.
like that because
Terrible.
I'm such a big fan of the original
Right.
tag team belts. I just think that those
With
look
the bronze plates.
Yeah, I mean it's just the ones that Demolition held, LOD held.
Yeah.
Can't beat those as far as a tag team title. But
Yeah, that's a good. They just did a dual plate of those too.
Yep,
and they're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous.
now here's a little history for you too. I didn't know. So when Ric Flair came over to WWF, he brought Big Gold with him, and then there was a lawsuit involved. He couldn't wear it, so they modified the tag team title into a heavyweight championship for him.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, I did. I do remember that. Yeah. Because that's what they showed on TV, right?
Yeah, that's the one that they showed on TV because they couldn't have Big Gold, and they just redesigned one of the tag team belts.
That's crazy.
So if you have a chance, look that up because it's pretty interesting to see.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild because in my head I still see him holding it and saying, "This is what a real world championship looks like."
Yep.
You know, and I'm like, he was holding it, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a picture that recently came out, kind of speaking of that, of Hogan holding the Intercontinental Championship, like he forgot the winged eagle or something like that, and that's what he held up the Intercontinental title, like that's what they had the back.
That's all I got. That's all I got, brother. I got to send them home happy.
All right, brother. This is what's gonna have to work for me, brother.
I'm gonna have to flex.
What do you guys think of the WWE world titles with the big W? You know, the Universal and the World Heavyweight title are exactly the same, but they change in name and they have different strap collars. And then the women, they're branded champions. So instead of being a world champion and the Universal champion, you have Raw champion, SmackDown champion. What do you guys think of their world title situation?
It's confusing. It really is. I was actually at the Raw when they debuted with the scratch logo of that. So that basically the same logo. When The Rock debuted it. I was actually at Raw and I just remember thinking like, it looks like a big championship ring. But it doesn't look good. You know, it was an upgrade from the spinner belt though. I guess that's one thing, but it's not my favorite. I would have to put, and it doesn't make sense. Like you mentioned, like Raw, SmackDown. That's why, God, I hope this unification happens and we're done. And then let's move to the women's and then to tag team. Like it's just so aggravating. To watch.
It's very indicative of what like UFC ended up, changing their titles, and it's very much like a billboard.
Yeah.
But everything on that title has meaning.
The flags, the diamonds.
Yeah, it's got the flags and it's got the diamonds and all this stuff. And like the WWE one is just like a hood ornament. And I think it was like designed by like West Coast Choppers or something like that.
Yeah.
So that was the first red flag.
It makes me think that the only reason they have it like that with that massive W is the fact that anytime a sporting event, they crown champions, they send that title and it's like it's a billboard for the company.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
They want the World Series champions or the Super Bowl champions holding a belt that has that big W on it.
Yeah. Here, I did bring up a picture. I don't know if you can see. That's Rick.
Oh, I have seen this.
Oh, yeah.
I have seen this.
So under where it says world, there instead of tag team, they've just put 3 diamonds in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So they did the modification, which was an interesting story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Wasn't that on Shivani, or not Shivani, maybe Pritchard's podcast or something like that? I think they talked about it.
Oh, I'm sure.
I feel like I heard that story from somewhere.
Yeah.
Real world champion.
With a tear in my eye.
Real world champion.
Oh, man.
Well, good times for sure.
All right, guys, we're going to move into our final topic. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Let's go. All right, final topic of the evening. Will WrestleMania be a thumbs up or a thumbs down for you this year? Or will it be a thumbs up, thumbs down, period?
I'll go ahead and just kick it off. I think if you look at like on paper right now, there's a lot more that I don't care about than there is that I care about. If we're just going match by match, there's not a lot of story to it. And there's a lot of matches where honestly, no matter what they do with the booking of the matches, I'm not really going to care. But having said that, I think there are a few moments on this WrestleMania that when it's all said and done on Monday, I think there's a possibility we could get a few memorable moments that will put a positive spin on the weekend, no matter the dog shit. I think the Lesnar Roman thing, if booked correctly, I think there's possibilities for some special stuff there. I honestly don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that The Rock comes out and challenges Roman after that match for next year. You know, if you have big moments like that, that's going to be the talking point of the week. I think if Cody returns, depending on how they handle that, that could be a very interesting angle. There's a lot of fun stuff that could happen that would put a positive spin on it. So I'm going to say, with Austin returning, obviously, I'm going to say on Monday, the talking points of all the wrestling heads will be more thumbs up than thumbs down. So I'll go thumbs up after Mania.
For me, it's pretty much same. It's like, I'm looking forward to AJ and Edge.
Yeah.
I think they're going to tear it up. Edge has been working on a completely different level the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And his storytelling is second to none.
It's the best. It's the best in the business.
Yeah,
absolutely.
In the company, I mean. So
I think Becky Bianca is going to be a great match. The build up, they've done everything they've could to make this build up as good as they possibly could. I still don't feel as much for excitement for the match as I did last year with Sasha and Bianca, and that match totally exceeded all my expectations. But yeah, I think Brock and Roman is going to be a real good one. I think Brock has just been firing on all cylinders lately. He's been entertaining as hell, and I'm here for it. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for every WrestleMania except for 27. But
oh man, that was horrible.
but every WrestleMania since then, there's been good and bad, and everything in between. But I know I'll be happy when it's all said and done.
For me, my biggest issue, I'm going to put it slightly towards thumbs up because I want to be positive. I want to remain positive. But for me, and I know this already talked about in the debate already, but this whole 2-night thing, it really makes me not want to watch it, to be honest with you. Like, especially Saturday night, because if you look at the card for Saturday night, there's not really that great matches. I mean, probably the only thing you have that's kind of interesting is the Steve Austin thing, in my opinion. I don't think they've booked the women very well. Especially with this, I think this weak angle with Bianca and Becky. And then they've got them all on the other night, the first night. And then you've got matches like Happy Corbin and Drew McIntyre, and
well, that's a match. I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Madcap. Is it Madcap on there?
Oh god,
the viral, disgusting piece of shit known as Logan Paul is on the card. I absolutely hate
Johnny
Logan
Knoxville
Paul.
and Sami Zayn.
I don't mind Johnny Knoxville.
That's one of the better stories.
Yeah,
he's Johnny Knoxville. He's been killing it.
Have you guys called Sammy yet? Have any of you actually called Sammy?
I haven't done it.
Do you think they added like an extra 0 to his new contract if he did that for WrestleMania?
You had to.
Very possible.
Yeah.
I think he probably has a burner phone after Mania. It's like it's done with.
It's rough, man.
But I think had this been like one night and you put it down to like 8 or 9 matches, and I think you could, and I think it would be a solid Mania. With the highlights of Brock and Roman. You can have the Steve Austin thing. You can have Edge and AJ. They have the women's matches.
Seth and Cody. That's a hell of a Mania. That's a hell of a Mania.
That's a great card. I mean, and I'm just tired. And y'all talked about this months ago in the debate. I'm just tired of like feeling, just because you're on the roster, you have to be on Mania. No, absolutely not.
Work towards.
Right. The argument is if you have 2 nights of Mania and all these extra matches, you're not necessarily making each match more important. In some cases, you're making the matches less important.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's oversaturated.
Yep.
But I mean, brass tacks, WrestleMania is held not only to make WWE money, but the city it's in money. Mm-hmm. And it's an easy sell to do 2 nights because that's an extra night. All those people have to stick around in Dallas.
That's true.
And spend their money to keep those business happy. So I don't think it's going away anytime soon, unfortunately.
No.
The only thing I would push back on that is this is the first year in a while where I think the last I checked, each night had about 60,000 tickets sold out of 100. If you would have done one night, it would have been a sellout instantly.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah. And I was actually interested to see. I don't know what the ticket sales are. I was actually going to bring that up. If the ticket sales are low, how can you afford to rent out AT&T Stadium for 2 nights? Unless Uncle Jerry. Yeah, Uncle Jerry's cutting him a deal,
Yeah,
I thought it was buy one get one, so I thought you buy one ticket, you've got both.
I think there were packages like that. But I think there was the possibility where you could buy for one night, right? Because I think at one point, one night, I think the second night had like 60,000 tickets sold, and night 1 was sitting at like 47. But when they announced Stone Cold, it bumped up a little bit.
Yeah, I know they're doing a huge marketing push the next week to get some last minute ticket buyers.
They got to get at least 20,000 more tickets each night to make it look decent.
Yeah, but then they're going to have that magic 20,000 extra people somewhere in that.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to lean towards what Boney's talking about and the 2-night thing for me. Like, I know people say that Mania is long, like one night Mania is long, like it's 6 hours and it wears you out. But I would rather be worn out for one night than just stretched and worn out for 2. And I think I love the way they used to do Mania weekend when they had the Hall of Fame, NXT.
Yep.
You had it just,
and then Raw on Monday. It was like
Raw
a big
on Monday,
boom, boom,
and
boom.
I think that they talk about, you talk about the ticket sales, but it's 60 and 60 right now. I think if you did one and it was a sellout and you did a Hall of Fame, you would get those incremental tickets for the Hall of Fame also. Right. I'm not saying it would sell out or you get thousands and thousands of people, but you would get those tickets for a Hall of Fame event. And I just think for me, it's going to be, for me personally, it's going to be a thumbs down until we go back to a one night. A 2-night for me, it's just tough. I'm not saying there's not going to be good moments. Seth and whoever he faces is going to be good.
Still not buying the Cody.
Adrenaline. Hey, I'm right there with you, Steve.
Not buying it.
He's got to come out first.
Who do you think, if it's not Cody, who do you think it could be? I've heard rumors. They've talked about this on Busted Open Radio. A lot of people are thinking it could be Undertaker. Getting that final in-ring send-off, because if you remember, his cinematic match was, that's not the way a legend like that goes out. He's going into the Hall of Fame. It's in Texas. Like,
so you do Taker, and then Cody debuts on Raw 2 nights later.
Possible.
Or Cody goes back to AEW.
Yeah. That's a tough one because it's like, you know, it's like everyone says the WWE audience is not the same as the AEW audience. I mean, there's a lot of cross pollination, but the people that go to WrestleMania are not necessarily there for the same kind of matches that they would see at All In.
Right.
Or, you know, they're there for the pageantry. They're there for, it's like going to the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Half the people that go to the Super Bowl aren't, you know, there to root for their team. They're there for the halftime show and all the fireworks and all that crazy stuff. So,
yeah.
I don't know what kind of reaction Cody would get at WrestleMania. I know what kind of reaction he'd get at the Raw after WrestleMania, because those are the people that are there for, you know, the product. But man, I mean, I think it's going to happen. I'm excited for it. Who knows what they're going to do with him? Hopefully, it doesn't come out of Stardust.
I can see. Oh, sorry. I can see Seth coming out just saying, "I'm tired of people stealing my spotlight. Somebody stop stealing my spotlight!" And then the music hits. Repo Man.
I would love that.
And he gives him his leg back.
Oh, man.
I mean, Cody going to WWE, that's going to get me to tune in more just to see what they do with him. Honestly, just, you know,
he's a good nostalgia play too, because he was one of the few guys in AEW that actually honored the past of wrestling and honored the storytelling more than anything. So if Cody does get into WWE, I hope they start to reintroduce those elements again instead of bringing legends to do comedy skits, where they just look like morons.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I do say, for me, it's, you know, I'm not saying there won't be the moments and there won't be good things, because I'm definitely looking forward to the Brock and Roman thing. But as far as me personally, I'm leaning more towards a thumbs down. Well, you know, all right. Well, anybody have any final thoughts before we get going?
No, think we covered it.
All right.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
So Nolan, let everybody know where they can find you on social media for anyone not in the know already.
Yeah, so if you guys like wrestling art or pop culture art and everything in between, you can follow me on Instagram at Nolanium, NOLANIUM. I'm also on Twitter, same handle. And if you really enjoy interactive, fun videos where I draw and you can watch the entire process, I'm also on TikTok, Nolanium_art.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for being here. We had a blast. We're all big fans of your work. Mm-hmm. Look forward to maybe having you on again in the future.
Thanks, guys. It was a lot of fun. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Here we go. All right, guys, that's going to wrap us up for this edition of the Turnbuckle Debate. Make sure you guys are tuning in to the turnbuckletavern.com for all of your tavern needs. Usually this is a spot. Tom's out this week because he
J-Bone, get your shit in.
He hurt his foot. Tom,
hey, you can follow me at the OG no, coming down the aisle. Make sure you tune in to Raw Down. We're going to crown a new Raw Down champion because I am the tag team champions.
Court is dismissed.